What's happening, guys? It's your girl Minna. Welcome back to my channel. You already know what it is. First and foremost, big up everyone locked in for this. I was about to say Tuesday. Big up to everyone locked in on this wonderful Tuesday afternoon. The weather's not really weathering, but it seems like there's just a lot of news in the football world. So it just makes the streams a little bit easier because it gives us something to talk about. Big up to everyone locked in. I hope you are doing well. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about. When I was planning my stream, so every morning, guys, I plan my streams, I plan the content throughout the day, get the thumbnail done. But as the day goes on and the stream kind of gets closer, the plan just kind of changes. I wasn't going to touch on it, but I think I have to because it impacts a lot of other Premier League teams. So we're just going to talk about the recent Manchester City news. They are taking the Premier League to court. Sheikh Mansour and them man there, they're saying you lot are discriminating against us golf owners. That is essentially what they're saying. They're saying there's discrimination against golf owners, such as the ones that have taken over Newcastle, the ones that take over Manchester City, etc., etc. So we're going to go through the article in a bit of depth and just try to understand what exactly they're beefing the Premier League about, because this is completely separate to the 115 charges. This is totally different to the one. This is Manchester City suing the Premier League. And the hearing, the court case will start on the 10th of June, which is next week. They handed the papers, I guess they served them, and as Americans would say, they served them with the papers back in February. The Premier League notified all the other Premier League teams about this, that they had been served with basically a club in the Premier League that wants to sue them for multiple different things. And now the hearing has been set. It's going to take place next week. It's going to be a 2-week court case, and that could actually kind of contribute to the potential hearing in November for the 115 charges, which is totally separate from this. So basically what City are saying is, whatever you hit us with, we're going to hit you with. That's basically the gist of what I read in the article. The article is in the Times, but I'm going to pop up a copy of it here on the screen, and I'm kind of going to go through the key details that has kind of stood out to me from that. But if you've just come through, be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe. We are here, we're in June, the Euros are starting soon. After the Euros, it's going to be pre-season, the Olympics are going to start. I really want to go to the Olympics this year, guys. I really want to go watch a basketball game. I really want to watch the US team. I want to watch Germany, etc., etc. Can you please tell Saeed to unban me from his channel? Yeah, email him your URL. If you go to Saeed's Twitter or his channel, email him your URL and just say that you watch him on my channel and he's been banned and you've been banned, and then he will unban you. His mods are a bit, what can I say? But guys, there's so much sport happening this summer. Of course, aside from sport, Love Island is on. If you're from the UK, you don't live under a rock, because Love Island is a big staple of the summer here in the UK. There's just so much happening, so much opportunities for content, and I will be streaming consistently. Hold me to it, guys, because I've been saying it all year. But I will be streaming consistently on Twitch. I've decided to take my gaming a bit more serious after some inspirational conversations with people over the weekend. I do need to take my gaming stuff seriously, and I don't want to overload the channel here with just football and gaming, etc., etc. I'm gonna either try mix it up. Maybe I'll do my EAFC streams here, but all my other streams where I'm gonna play other games, I'm gonna play Assassin's Creed that I started that I didn't finish. All of that, I'm gonna do that on Twitch. Or maybe should I start another channel? I don't know. Maybe I should consult the members and see what they think is best. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should consult the members and see what they do best. And on top of that, we're going to have some member-only streams coming in the next couple of weeks. But all in all, we've got a lot of content coming. I said I'll be consistent with the vlogs. Dropped a vlog on the weekend of the Champions League, guys. The Champions League. Maybe I should save this Champions League talk for the end of the stream, because I had a blunder at the Champions League, and it's actually inspired me to learn more about F1, because I met someone who's famous in F1. I didn't know who the hell they was. Didn't take a picture with them. I even told my +1, oh, I don't know who that is. Maybe they're like, maybe they're a Twitch streamer or something. And then I went on Google and I Googled them. Didn't really see like anything that made me think wow on Google. Maybe I didn't read properly. I was so overwhelmed in the moment. And then, yeah, it's only after that night that I told my cousins and my family, like, oh, this guy was at, there was a famous F1 guy in the lounge with us, and he was taking pictures with everyone, and he was playing PlayStation with people, blah, blah, blah. Bro, they nearly fell out of their chair when I said the name. But that has inspired me to learn more things outside of football, guys, because when I looked at this guy, he didn't look like an F1 racer to me. He did not, I didn't think he was an F1 racer. But I've learned now to not judge people. Tell us the name. The name is, let me just make sure it's correct, yeah. Told you F1 is amazing, Mina. I didn't know how many people are like F1 fans. No, wallahi, like this guy don't look like an F1 racer. Like, it's actually mad. His name is Lando Norris. His name was Lando Norris. We were in the same hospitality lounge, in and around the same vibes. He was like chilling with everyone, chit-chatting with people, playing racing games with people on the PlayStation. And I didn't know who he was. I looked at him and I just thought he was a Twitch streamer. He was wearing a nice little jacket, all of that stuff. I didn't know who he was. But I'm now inspired to learn more about F1. You don't know Lando? No, I don't. The only Formula One guy I know is Lewis Hamilton. Michael Schumacher, is he still alive? I don't even know, but he was a F1 driver when I was younger. I don't watch F1, guys. I know nothing about F1. The only thing I always say to myself is, why do people just watch people driving around a map, like doing 100 laps? How is that entertainment? But Lewis Hamilton is the only one I know because he was dating Nicole from Pussycat Dolls. That's why I know Lewis Hamilton, and also he's from the UK, so obviously he's quite big. How can you not know Lando Norris? I know him now. You see, I know him now. I know him now. But maybe I should start watching F1, guys. If I start watching F1, yeah, if I start doing watch-alongs for F1, you guys have to be in the comments to kind of you'll have to be in the comments to kind of guide me through it. You have to be in the comments to kind of guide me through it. He's from the UK. What is he? I didn't know that. I thought the only big F1 driver from the UK was Lewis Hamilton. Like, genuinely, I thought, this is how you know, guys, I'm really out of touch. I'm very, very out of touch. But I saw so many people at the Champions League. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, obviously, Lando's Lando Norris is quite famous, but you didn't know he's from the UK. You Googled him. I Googled him, yeah, and I went on his Wikipedia page and it said 0 championships. So I thought, okay, this guy ain't that famous. And then the host said something like, oh, you just fresh off of like winning a race. So I was like, is the internet lying to me or is the host lying to me? Which one is it? Because he was doing like a Q&A at like 2 hours before the game. So that was it. But the amount of people I saw, guys, I walked past in the stairs, I nearly fainted. But you know me, guys, yeah, I'm a fangirl, but I'm quite shy to ask for like pictures. So if I see people, I would just like say hi to them and just keep it moving. I'm walking up the stairs. Zanetti, guys, Zanetti is walking down the stairs, and I looked at him and thought, that's Zanetti. And then I was walking with someone. I said, that's Zanetti. And then his wife started laughing and she goes, yeah, it is. And then I was just like starstruck. I was like, oh my days, like I'm just starstruck. Who else did I see? I saw Usyk. Usyk was in the lounge next to us. Walked. It's so funny because whenever I see famous people, it's like they don't make a big deal out of themselves, but the people that they're with make a big deal out of themselves. But I saw Usyk. My mate bumped into Jay-Z in the lift. I went downstairs, yeah, like 5 minutes later, my mate leaves the lounge. I said, meet me like at the seats. They were like, all right, cool. 5 minutes later, my mate meets me at the seats with their phone like this, like, oh my God, look who I just bumped into the lift. If you had just waited 5 more minutes, you would have bumped into Jay-Z. I was like, what the hell? If I saw Jay-Z, I would be like, oh my God, it's Beyonce's wife. Husband, sorry. I would be like, it's Beyonce's husband. Please say you got a pic with Zanetti or Usyk. Nah, I didn't. I got a video of Usyk like walking past me. But again, I'm not gonna say hi. Can I get a picture quickly? Like if I see them going around taking pictures with people, I might do that. But if I feel like I might be disturbing them because he was on his way out, he was leaving. This was after the game. I just kind of let him walk. He literally just walked straight past me like this, and I was just like, man, like Usyk, fresh off of Mr. Fury. But who else did we see in the area? Like we were sat with a lot of like UK people. We were sat with quite a few UK people, so like Big Zoo, AJ Tracy, Els the Witch, like she's a big streamer. Who else? E-Man obviously was sitting in front of me. SV2, I think his name is. And then the guy from Snowfall was just sitting a bit further down from us. I called him Damson Idris. The thing is, I went with my sister in it, and she just knows everybody. So there's people I don't know that she knows. So I'm just Beyonce's wife. Sorry, this is Freudian slip, guys. My bad. Freudian slip. But anyways, that was the Champions League. It was such a sick experience. Like honestly, shout out to PlayStation 100 times over, because that experience was an experience of a lifetime. I've never been, you know me guys, I'm from the hood. Yeah, I'm from the hood. I've never been to a lounge where you're eating buffet style food, yeah, but this is like upper end food. I've been to hospitality lounges before. I've been to West Ham's one very long ago, and it was just like basic finger foods. This was top tier. Wallahi, like I couldn't believe it. I literally couldn't believe it. And then they had consoles all over the place so you can play games. They had FIFA, obviously they had that driving game, Horizon something. But it was a fun experience, I can't lie. It was a halal buffet. Shout out to PlayStation, because inclusivity, you know, we love that. It was inclusive. There was something that I wanted to eat that I couldn't, because it was like salmon, but it was marinated in gin and wine. So the good thing is like they obviously put the menu, they put everything that's on each. So obviously I couldn't have that, but the steak was halal. All of that stuff was halal. It was nice. It was a good vibe. But let's get into the real talk anyway. My cousin could not let me live it down that I didn't know who the hell Lando Norris was. Like, I need to do better, guys. I need to do better. Maybe I'm in these rooms and people might feel some type of way that I don't know them. But we're gonna quickly talk about City, because if you've been living under a rock, Man City launched legal action against the Premier League. Yes, you've heard that right. They've launched legal action against the Premier League officially. Well, they launched it. Well, they launched it on? I think they launched it on February. They launched it in February. It's only coming to light now because the court case will start in the next 2 weeks. And there's some interesting stuff that stands out for me. It will be settled in a 2-week private. So I don't think it's going to be out to the public. I don't think people are going to be able to report on it. They'll probably just be able to report on the findings after it. And the outcome could dramatically alter the landscape of the game. Now, I think the Premier League are very worried about that. There's a few things that kind of stand out. This is the first part. At next week's hearing, which has provoked bitter divisions between the clubs, City will attempt to end the league's associated party transaction, aka the APT rules, which they claim are unlawful, and seek damages from the Premier League. So not only are they trying to sue them by saying that this is unlawful, you are targeting people like us with this APT rules, but they're also seeking damages. They want money. Obviously, they don't need it, but it just sounds like when you seek damages, it just sounds like you've been done wrong. And that's the image I think they are trying to perceive. Now, APT came, I think, what does it say? December 2021. So that's when Saudi took over Newcastle. And the rules are designed to maintain the competitiveness of the Premier League by preventing clubs from inflating commercial deals with companies linked to their owners. Now, this is the funny part. This is the funny part to me, because obviously we know City are as guilty as they come. They themselves, City, believe that they are victims of discrimination. They believe they are the victims in all of this. Not Newcastle, not Chelsea, because there's some and the reason why I mentioned in Newcastle and Chelsea is because they're using Chelsea and that as an example. But they also believe that the rules have been approved by their rivals to stifle their success on the pitch as a tyranny of the majority. Now, let's be real, guys. Let's be real. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's the likelihood? What is the likelihood that these lot will be successful? What's the likelihood? I don't know how likely. Taking the Premier League to court is one thing, but being successful is a different thing. Now, if City are successful with their claim, and some rival clubs do think that they will be successful, it could enable the richest clubs to value their sponsorship deals without independent assessment for the league. That's going to set a very bad precedent. Vastly boosting the amount of money they can raise, and therefore giving them far greater sums to spend on players. Now, further into the article, it goes into the fact that 4 out of 10 sponsors for Manchester City are linked to the state ownership. It's linked to Sheikh Mansour, including Etihad, which is their biggest sponsor. They sponsor their kit, they sponsor their stadium. Etihad is owned by the ruling family of Abu Dhabi. Now, the other 19 clubs have been invited to participate in the legal action, and the Times understands between 10 and 12 of them have stepped forward, providing either witness statements or letters detailing evidence in support of the Premier League's defense against the claim. However, there is one club that has come out in support of Manchester City and has volunteered to be to write witness statements. Who's your money on, guys? Who's your money on? I think it's Newcastle. It would make sense. Now, I bet it's Newcastle. Same. It would kind of make sense. They got the Gulf relations, the royal family there, the royal family in Saudi. They got the relations. And there was reports that was suggesting that, the Sheikh Mansour was lobbying the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi to meet with Rishi Sunak to get this sorted out. Now, obviously, if you're not from the UK are undergoing a general election now, so there's not really a prime minister. But I bet you any money in the next coming months that the UAE will start lobbying whatever government come in power here in the UK, and will kind of get them to meddle in and stop whatever happens. Now, that is if I think Manchester City are unsuccessful with this. Now, this is where the interesting parts come from. This is because for me, this just screams corrupt. Like it just screams corruption. As well as the impact it could have on the Premier League as a competition, clubs fear City's claim could also be key to the outcome of the hearing in their 115 alleged breaches between 2009 and 2023. Now, the biggest part of it all is to do with sponsorship. They cannot, despite being owned by a very rich owner, they cannot directly pump money into the club for FFP reasons. So they have to find accounting loopholes. And they managed to find that, of course, with this. It has been alleged that City concealed payments by their owner Sheikh Mansour through third parties and disguised them as sponsorship revenue, which in itself was inflated and disguised them. Even before the more recent moves by the Premier League to tighten regulations, there was a requirement under the league's rules that related party transactions must be of market value. If such rules are now deemed unlawful, it could significantly strengthen City's defense at the hearing later this year. City have denied any wrongdoing. Now, this is what I'm saying. If they are successful with this right now, the 2-week trial that's going to start next week, if they're successful with it, it could completely alter the outcome in November. Now, when did all this take place? It took place, the Times kind of confirmed, that City carried out the threat, filing their claim on February 16th, with the Premier League informing its member clubs in March that a date for June the 10th had been set for the hearing. So this is where it gets interesting. Because they are suing the Premier League for defamation. They're suing them for, what's it called? Damn, I forgot. Discrimination. There you go. They're suing them for discrimination. And they are basically saying they are the victims in all of this. City are suing the Premier League for damages while arguing that the league's democratic system of requiring at least 14 clubs or 2/3 of those who vote to implement rule changes gives the majority unacceptable levels of control. They accuse rival clubs of discrimination against golf ownership, citing the comments of one particular senior club executive. Now, this is, I think, they got to tread on. They got to tread very lightly, because accusing people of discrimination against golf ownership, and they're saying that they got proof of it from a senior exec, that is worrisome. Is it any secret that the people in the Premier League, other other clubs are against, I don't think it's golf ownership. I think it's state-backed ownership that maybe people are against. Of course, I know a lot of people were not against it for Qatar, i.e. fans were not against it when Qatar was kind of in the running for Manchester United. But I guess that a lot of the owners were probably against the idea of another state-backed golf ownership. City argue that sponsors linked to club owners in Abu Dhabi should be allowed to determine how much they want to pay, regardless of independent valuation. 4 of City's top 10 sponsors have ties to the UAE, including stadium and shirt sponsor Etihad Airways. So that is, to me, they come in here. What I don't understand is Manchester City's ownership have come here and they're basically saying, you have all your rules and we don't like your rules. You think you can determine how much our sponsors give us. I don't like that. Our sponsors should be able to give us however much they want. You come here and tell me that 2/3 of the owners in a Premier League club have to agree on something for a vote for a change to be implemented. I don't like that. They don't like the idea of the democracy in the vote in I guess in the voting aspect of stuff for the clubs. And then they don't like the fact that they're being told what is happening with their money and how much money that they can get from sponsorships. Now, of course, the reason why I mentioned Newcastle and Chelsea was because of this, because Newcastle is also majority owned by Saudi Arabia's PIF. The PIF, if you guys don't know, was just established like not that long ago. It's when Prince Salman decided to implement the 2030 vision. So they established the PIF, which was to invest in sports, etc., across the world, and basically encourage financial encouragement in other ways outside of oil. So they decided to do, sports, etc. You see it with the boxing that they host all the time. They've had wrestling. They've had the flipping El Clasico, trying to get their own golf. I wouldn't be surprised if they host NBA soon. NBA actually is hosted pre-season in Abu Dhabi, but I wouldn't be surprised if Saudi get that. But Newcastle is owned by the PIF, which is obviously directly run by the Saudi government, Prince Mohammed bin Salman, etc., etc. And they have a shirt sponsorship deal. There you go. They have a shirt sponsorship deal with Sila, a Saudi sports rights company that had only come through literally like 6 months ago. I swear. All right, maybe 6 months I'm exaggerating, but it is definitely something that did not exist 5 years ago. And there was talk about whether this was a legit one. Now, Chelsea also have a shirt deal with Infinite Athlete, a leisure company which counts the joint Chelsea owners Todd Bowley and Egbali among its investors. So essentially what they're saying is, well, if these lot can all have their own, brands sponsoring them, then why can't we have it? But I think with City's case in particular, 4 out of 10, with the biggest 2 being name holders, i.e. Etihad Airways sponsoring your stadium and sponsoring your shirt. That's probably the 2 biggest ones after, I guess, they sponsored by Puma after that is where they make a lot of money. They're just literally pumping money back into their club. They are just pumping money back into their club. Big up to Nubian Pharaoh with the big super chat again coming through. That's W's in the chat, guys. W's in the chat. We have to pause the show there. I'm not like Owen, unfortunately. I don't have a custom voice. I can't do that custom voice, all of that stuff. But thank you very much to Nubian Pharaoh for the support all the time. Says good show, showing some support. Big up to Nubian, and big up to Ash. Says big up to both of you with the super chat. Big W, especially from Nubian. Seeing Nubian here, even when Marcel isn't. I was starting to think he didn't like me, and he only liked Marcel. Big up to Riri in the chat. Big up to Ahmed. Listen, I don't want to spend too much time, guys. I don't want to spend too much time on Manchester City, but they are funny. Look at man like Sheikh Mansour, man like Pep Guardiola. Anyways, millions are being spent on legal fees to fight this case. One senior club source says that the Premier League's legal bill has more than quadrupled in the last year, from 5 million to just over 20 million. They also point to the fact that since February, the Premier League's own legal department has been forced to shift its focus to this claim. Listen, Premier League, if you're looking for lawyers, I'm not a lawyer, but I can argue So if you want me to argue your case, shout me. But I do know lawyers. I do know lawyers. My cousin's a barrister. I know people that are lawyers. So, and I'm sure there's people in the chat that got some legal advice. We're happy to help you take down Manchester City. Because I think it sets a bad precedent. I think if Manchester City are successful with this, they are going to go into November when the big case is coming to light. They're going to go into it very comfortable. They are going to go into it very, very comfortable. Now, as I mentioned, they are seeking damages, and in their claim, Manchester City are seeking damages for the losses which it has incurred as a result of the unlawfulness of the fair market value rules. So obviously there's the rules of having fair market value when it comes to sponsorships, i.e. you get a sponsorship deal, and it has to be within fairness deemed by the Premier League. And they're saying, well, we've lost out on money because of that. Bro, you're never going to lose out on money. You got Sheikh Mansour. You're never losing out on money. In particular, they go on to say, in particular for costs resulting from delays, sums they claim were not paid under agreed deals, and additional costs, including the club's inability to generate revenue from delayed or cancelled projects. The club believes could potentially amount to tens of millions. Is the UAE running out of money that we're not aware of? So they're trying to get money from the Premier League. They then go on to say that they're seeking a split trial, with the first part focused on the APT rules, followed by a second to then determine damages. Now, guys, this is where the most interesting part for me sticks out, because I want to get it up on here, because this is shameless. This is shameless. And this is the last part, because we spent a bit on this. This is the last part on City. In their claim, Manchester City argue the current Premier League rules will limit ability to buy the best players, and it will force them, listen to this, to charge fans more for tickets. The fans that Pep is begging to come to the games, they're saying we're gonna have to charge them more. Anyways, they then go on to say Man City also suggests that they may have to cut spending on youth development, women's football, and community programs. They're pulling at the heartstrings of everyone. Like, look at us. We have cheap tickets. Now we have to put our price up because of the Premier League. Look at us. We're investing in women's football. Look at us. We can't spend now on the women's team. Oh, we've been developing our youth base for how long? We can't do that anymore. Oh, we've invested in the neighbouring areas in Manchester surrounding the Etihad Stadium. We can't do that anymore because the Premier League they're trying to turn people on the Premier League. And don't get me wrong, Premier League got their faults in it. They've got their faults. I think that the Premier League took too long to start fighting Manchester City. I'll be honest. I think they took too long. Now, this article is playing a reverse Uno card. I've never played Uno before, but I understand that reference. And don't get on to me, guys, in the chat for not playing Uno before. Do not get on to me, please. But I understand that reference. Now, for me, they're being shameless. They're being shameless. Now, the 115 breached accusation is set to start in November, and it's going to go for 6 weeks. So we might have a decision, depending on when in November it starts. We might have a decision, I would say maybe like mid-December. But if the courts are not working during the Christmas period, then it might be a New Year thing. This, for me, is the calm before the storm. I think it's Manchester City trying to get some sort of, they're trying to get, control over the situation. They know that a lot of this is out of their hands. I mean, if the Premier League is saying they got 100, by the way, Manchester United have just nicked another employee from that used to work at Manchester City. It seems like a lot of people are just jumping ship. And if that is the case, going off of that, they are literally trying to make sure that they set themselves up going into November where they have enough bite if the Premier League barks. That is what they're doing. And what have they threatened so many times? That they will have the best legal team and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. But the facts are the facts. And when you've got 115 charges on your back, I don't know how you're getting out of that. I really, really do not know how you're getting out of that. However, I don't want to say good luck to them because I don't wish them any luck. But we're going to go on with the transfer news because we spent nearly a good 20 minutes talking about that. And starting with the first, it's not really United talk, but it kind of relates to United a little bit. And the reason why it does relate to United, guys, I'm trying to do timestamps at the same time as the stream, and it's not easy. It's not easy. But just quickly, I had to mention Tosin Adarabioyo is currently undergoing his medicals at Chelsea today. A big Manchester United target over the last, I'd say, month. Is a name that we've heard a lot, and it's reported, by the way, by the Muppeteers. Muppeteers has reported today that the reason United backed out of this is because he's getting 160k a week at Chelsea. Bro, Chelsea got like 15. Chelsea have the same number of siblings I have is the same number of centre-backs Chelsea have. Make that make sense. Anyways, Chelsea got a whole load of centre-backs, and he is going to be joining that list. 160k. Manchester United reportedly had no interest in paying that wage for a rotational player. And I think about it, you know what? Good on them. Good on them. Because obviously we're going to come to the Bruno talk. We're going to come to the talk about Bruno Fernandes. It really does. I do think Ineos are trying to stay true to this idea about fees, wages, not kind of overpaying for people. And Tosin Adarabioyo, unfortunately, is just another that. Newcastle reportedly, by the way, backed out of that as well for the same reason. Chelsea are the only people that are willing to pay bench players starter prices. Like, I don't... Okay, and also, can I say, Adarabioyo, he ain't even got to go that far, bro. He just has to walk up the road. He crossed 2 traffic lights and a zebra crossing, and he's at Stamford Bridge. He ain't got to. He doesn't have to move house. If he's got family, doesn't have to uproot his family. Doesn't have to change his social life. Doesn't have to, organize, moving all his stuff up north or anywhere. He's literally crossing over the road to Chelsea. Shout out to him for getting the bag. But again, I don't know how Chelsea kind of change this narrative that they've got surrounding them of overpaying people, paying high fees for people, then paying them big wages. I don't know if Chelsea actually think that they are going to be able to offload people this summer to that level. But it's not really our business. But this, you know what is our business? This right here is our business. Bruno Fernandes. Let me just slap the thing there. Someone said, I think Ahmed said in the chat that Bruno to Saudi is picking up some momentum. If you've got any stories from social media, let me know. But this is from recently, earlier today, I think it was like midday. Jamie Jackson reporting that Bruno Fernandes is pushing for a new contract from Manchester United that will take him into the top paid bracket with Marcus Rashford, Casemiro, Jadon Sancho. The latter of the three, I don't really know if they will be here next season. But Florin Plettenberg, Sky reporter, also reported earlier today that Bruno is not a hot topic of interest at Bayern Munich as of right now. So we've heard some talk about Bruno to Bayern Munich. It's reported that they ain't really looking at it like that. And you know what, guys? I have a hot take. Bruno Fernandes should be the highest paid player at United. You might not agree with me, but you look at the way, bro, Mason Mount earns more than Bruno Fernandes. And I get that Bruno Fernandes got a bumped contract 2 years ago. Obviously, that was before Mason Mount joined. Anthony is not that far off from Bruno. But if you are truly committed to what he's doing and the importance of the club, you would make a statement by getting rid of the high earners, and he is the only. Mohamed Salah was holding out for how long to get 350 at Liverpool. I'm not saying they're the same, but I think in terms of level of importance, I think it's the same. Mohamed Salah, he won Champions League and Premier League with Liverpool, so you can't really compare like for like. I don't think you compare like for like, but I'm just talking about solely on the idea of the importance that he holds. Now, you look at the factors from Bruno's side that contribute to this, and I think number one, he's not getting any younger. So he's looking for that big price, that last big contract. But then again, you argue And this is where I think Ineos are going to be damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. Because Ineos right now have come in and set a foundation of wage structure, having a firm grip on the way that the salaries are capped at the club. Of course, they can't deal with anything that was done before they joined, but they can definitely deal with the stuff that is happening right now. And I think this one is going to be very telling how they deal with it, because it's either they listen to offers for him. And Bruno Fernandes, for me, still has the ability to play at top level. He's still got European legs in him. There's no need for him to join his counterpart Casemiro in Saudi. But Bruno is looking at this and thinking, well, Marcus Rashford literally got a bumped contract. I get that he was coming up to the last year of his contract, so they had to offer him something new. But he ran the club. He ran the club's financial department to the ground, basically, in terms of how much he got. Now, let me know in the chat what you lot feel. What do you lot think about this particular situation? Because I think it's been the biggest topic of discussion over the last couple of days. Do you keep Bruno? Do you give him that contract, same number of years, but just a bumped up salary? I mean, you look at, since he's gotten that contract, I think he's had 2 good seasons under Erik ten Hag. I think he struggled last season, especially in the early stages, but he kind of found his feet in the latter parts of the season. 2 trophies in 2 years. It's crazy to think that was actually the Carabao Cup was his first trophy. Excuse me, the Carabao Cup was his first trophy at the club. It's kind of crazy when you put it like that. 2 trophies in 2 years. Captain. And let's be honest, guys. Every time I watch interviews, every time I read articles from interviews of players, Bruno is truly the people's person. Bruno Fernandes is truly the people's person. The players speak so highly of him, it's ridiculous. And I don't think it's I don't really feel like it's what's it, PR. I don't think it's PR the way people speak about him. They truly adore this guy. They truly, like, as a teammate, they truly adore him. I want a Bruno emoji. I will have to add it at the end of the transfer window just in case he leaves, innit? I think we got one. No, we got a Bruno one. We got I'm such an idiot. We got a Bruno emoji. Now, of course, his agent is just out there trying to get the best deal for him. The only person I would take in replacement of Bruno is probably Musiala and maybe a Xavi Simons. Maybe I would say Xavi Simons, but even Xavi Simons right now doesn't know where his future lies. He doesn't really know where his future lies. But Bruno, that's not me saying they're better than Bruno, by the way. I just think longevity-wise, we'll get more out of them, 3, 4, 5 years in comparison to maybe the best of 2, 3 years out of Bruno. I learned to appreciate him when I realized he's not the problem. I used to be Bruno's biggest hater. So did I. I'm not a hater. I was very highly critical of him. I feel like I always held Bruno to a standard that I didn't hold other players to. And to me, it's because he's that role model player in the team. There's really no one of that caliber in the team where they're a role model, they're an example, and they actually take pride in being that. We've never heard, guys, we talk about Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United. I've never heard of any scandal with him. Nothing. I haven't heard of him partying. I haven't heard of him doing balloons. We've never heard anything except for refs and opponents find him annoying on the pitch. That's the only thing we hear. That's the only type of criticism that we've heard of him outside of football. We've never heard of him acting out of character. He's always been a prime example to players, to the younger players. Ethan Wheatley came on and made his Man United debut. And what was the first thing Bruno said to him? I'm going to try to get you a goal. And what was he doing? Even though United were winning that game, he was trying to find Ethan Wheatley to get him a goal on his debut. The younger players look up to him. He is an example. Now, I'm not saying that example equals salary. Like, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that I kind of understand where this story is coming from, because it's his last couple years left at the high level. If he went to Saudi Arabia, I will be so shocked. I will be so shocked. Bruno chasing assurances. He's about to be 30 and the club is about to rebuild the rebuild. He's making sure he's secure regardless of what happens next with the manager situation. 100%. And there was talk at the end of the season saying that Bruno had met with, and big up to Ed, by the way, there was talk that Bruno had met with, the senior members of staff at Manchester United and Ineos to understand what's the project, where is things going. Bro hasn't won a league title. He cannot, like, he's going to be one of them players, like, you know how we look back and we look at the players, oh, the best players to never win a Champions League. Bruno will be in the category of the best players to never win a league title anywhere. And that shouldn't be the case, not for, I think, a player of his standard and a player of his level. Manchester United, and that also shows to me it's not about the money. Because you're telling me that Bruno went to meet with the members of staff to understand where this project is going and what's the plan for the next couple of years, because he wants to know probably before he fully commits. He wants to know. He's now on, and Ten Hag is his second full-time manager since he's joined. He had Ole, and then obviously Ragnick, and then him, and then Ten Hag. Could be on a third manager depending on what happens with Eric Ten Hag. The guy just wants some assurance. He wants some assurance with a little bumped up salary with that. I personally think that Manchester United shoot themselves in the foot when you have people like Jadon Sancho earning so much. You have Anthony earning so much. Mason Mount earning so much. Casemiro earning so much. Marcus Rashford earning so much. And people will say it's Glazeronomics, but they have been slowly getting the highest paid players out the door. Cristiano Ronaldo, bro, was on like 500 racks. Yeah, he was on like 500k. They got him out of the door. David De Gea got him out of the door. Paul Pogba, they got him out of the door. Casemiro, they're trying to get him out of the door. Some of the highest paid players, they have got them out of the door in the last 24 months. In the last 2 years, they have gotten them all out. So for me personally, I get where this Bruno stuff is coming from. I get it. Will I be sad to see him go? No, because me being the biggest Pogba fan, bro, I saw Pogba leave United, and I didn't shed a tear. Yeah, I've seen some of the biggest and the best players leave Man United. I think the only player I was ever upset about leaving was when Ronaldo left in 2009. I was distraught, but I was young and I was a teenager, but I was so upset when he left. But if Bruno leaves, he leaves. United go on to then rebuild. They go on to rebuild. To me, Super Arch says, to me, Bruno is an opportunist at all aspects of his career, position, sneaking in for the captain ban, not trying to sneak his way on for the bag. He waited a little too late. I don't know if he waited a little too late, personally, because I just think right now, Bruno is in, I think, a position where he can force Ineos's hand, because Ineos know that they cannot go out and spend, like, 10s don't come cheap, guys, right now in the market. Attacking midfielders, creators don't come cheap. You're looking at least 90, 100 million to buy someone of that level, yeah? Bruno's in a position, I think he's in a fortunate position right now where he could force Ineos's hand to pay him more, and he commits to this project for the next couple years. Like, it could happen. It could happen. But then for me, I think it sets a bad precedent for what Ineos are trying to build, because if they're coming in and saying that they're changing the wage structure, etc., they can't come out and say, okay, well, we've just given Bruno Fernandes 300k a week. They can't do that. It would go against everything that they're trying to build right now. But I think the ball is really in. Is right now he's put the ball in Ineos's court, but really I think Bruno Fernandes has the upper hand in this, because essentially his agent is out trying to find other clubs interested in him, and that's what agents do when it comes to, you know, trying to get your. Marcus Rashford did it last year. His agent did it. His brother did it last year, trying to get him that new deal. It happens, but also it gives them an opportunity to know that there's other teams that would be interested in him. So A, that is another thing that could force the hand of Ineos. B, Ineos might see the fact that they cannot go out and buy a new 10 this summer, because we're hearing that United are broke. We're hearing that United have no money. They have no money to spend lavishly like they have in the past. They've got bigger positions that are bigger priorities. He's given them a lifeline. I think he's given Ineos a lifeline. He's saying to them, if you give me 50k more. So what is he on now? Like 200, 220? If you give me 50k more, it will cost you, say, I don't know, 20 million over the course of 4 years. This is just hypothetical numbers, guys, yeah? But it will cost you, actually 20 million is actually way too high, bro. What the hell is wrong with my maths? 50k more a month is 200k. If we times that by 12, that is 2.4. So if we times that by 4, okay, let me go back to the maths. If Bruno says, give me 50k more a week, yeah, over the course of the next 4 years of my contract, that works out to be about 9.5 million over 4 years. In comparison to selling Bruno and then having to spend 100 million. Do you get it? The pros outweigh the cons. The pros, I think, outweigh the cons. Big up to Koala says, 2 options for Bruno: shut up or keep doing this, and Ineos will F him off to get money for young players. A Portuguese player doing this to old English men. Goodbye. I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that they're old Englishmen. I don't think so. I think it's just he's playing chess, not checkers. He's playing chess, not checkers. That's it. Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you've just come through. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. If you want to send in super chats with your thoughts, with your questions, with your just opinions, you can do that, which is an alternative way to support the channel as well. Now, it wouldn't be a transfer stream if I don't talk about this guy here. It wouldn't be a stream if I don't talk about him, guys. Sofiane Amrabat. I know you lot saw what his brother was saying on Dutch television the other day, which he then came out to say it was basically taken out of context. Sofiane Amrabat would like to stay at Manchester United. Surprise, surprise. Especially having shown the fans the player he can be in the last month of the season. He likes living in Manchester and feels that the group of players is a good one without the edge he experienced at other clubs. Now, there's other news about Sofiane Amrabat that came out today, but I just don't have it up. But I read it earlier this morning. Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't know if I was going to sneeze or what. But there's some other news about Sofiane Amrabat in case you guys did miss it. It was reported that he went to Erik ten Hag before the Arsenal game and pleaded with Erik ten Hag to play him as a DM and not left back. He told the manager reportedly that he can play at the best in that position. Erik ten Hag played him. United lost 1-0, but the whole team apparently was impressed with Amrabat, and that is what gave him those run of games in DM. Also, the fact that Casemiro was playing centre back, so essentially there wasn't really anybody else. Now, I want to bring up exactly what his brother said. Man like Nuruddin Amrabat. This is the thing, yeah. When you're famous, it's your relatives that will get you in trouble. It's your relatives that will get you in trouble. It's not you that will get in trouble. It's your relatives that will say some shit that you've told them, and that will get them in trouble. Now, Nuruddin Amrabat, also the agent of, by the way, or Nuruddin Amrabat, also the agent of Sofiane Amrabat and the older brother of Amrabat as well, said that Casemiro was not injured in the FA Cup final. He found that he wouldn't start, so he thought to himself, okay, I will sit in the stands. He was fit to play. Where else did this come from, bro? This came from your brother. Your brother told you this in confidentiality, and now you've just sat on national TV and told everybody this. And what happens? People are going to speculate that it came from your brother. If Casemiro was to stay next season, of course, this is hypothetical, yeah? If Casemiro stayed next season and Amrabat stayed, it's going to be awkward. It's going to be so awkward. Now, of course, it's not surprising what he said. It's not anything out of the blue that he said, because I think this was common knowledge to quite a lot of people. I think that there was a lot of speculation about this going around at the time. Did he come out and make a statement? I think his brother actually came out and made a statement. Statement FC. Wallahi, we are actually Statement FC. Nuruddin Amrabat then comes out and makes a statement shortly after this was aired on Dutch television, saying, today during an interview on television, it was suggested that my brother only played in the cup final due to an injury. My response to this was pure speculation, and my only motivation was to defend my brother, who is on the field due to his own merit and hard work. My words have been taken out of context. Who took it out of context? And there was no ill intention whatsoever. And to suggest another player chose not to play is wrong. I don't know what happened on the day, so let's move on from this non-story. What makes me laugh is, guys, is that he's saying that to suggest another player chose not to play is wrong. You were the one that you're the one that said it. You said it. We didn't say it. You said it. And that's why I say that shit would just get you in trouble. Your siblings will get you in trouble. Let's just move on. Do you know how toxic this statement is? This is toxic. Excuse my language, but this is toxic masculinity at its finest. My guy said, "I know what I said. You guys know what I said. Let's just move on because there's no truth in it." Oh man. Anyways, let's talk about actual transfer news in it. Let's not talk about speculation. Let's do what he said. Let's just move on from that. But I had to mention that statement. Fiorentina sporting director has said that I think Soufiane Amrabat wants to stay in the Premier League, but Manchester United haven't told us anything yet. I'd like to keep him, but I think he has different plans. Now, I think Amrabat will leave Fiorentina. I think it's inevitable. He did have links to Liverpool last season, but his heart was set on joining Manchester United. I could see him joining another Premier League team if Man United don't bite on the transfer price. Now, the transfer price, I think, is 25 million euros. So, and I'm going to come to something else as well a bit further down. Would Amrabat be a good depth signing? Yeah, I think he would. I think he would. Is he able to cope with the Premier League? I think he's shown that he can cope with it. I think I would like to see him in a Manchester United team that has been good consistently. Like in a team that struggled, it's not really ideal because I think you don't really get to see, like, everybody looks good in a shit team is what I'm trying to say. It's easy to stand out in a crap team. I would have loved to see Amrabat last season when United were doing well, especially in the first five or so months. Is he worth it? 21 million. Do you not think he's worth it? Because I think getting a decent depth for 21 million for me is not bad. Of course, United, we don't really know how much United have to spend, and I think that is a big problem. That's a big problem. I think a starter is priority. I don't think United will allow themselves, especially under Ineos, and that's the vibe I'm getting. I don't think Ineos will allow themselves to be held ransom financially for transfers. I don't think they're going to allow that anymore. We're going to come to that later with Joao Neves' bid being rejected. I don't see Amrabat staying. I would like for him to stay. I think for the price, it's a reasonable price, low risk, low reward. We bought Malacia for like 19 million euros. So I'm not saying that Malacia has turned out to be a great signing, but he was a low risk, low reward kind of player. I think Amrabat can play starting. I think he's starting quality. And if we had him and Fofana in that midfield, it would allow us a lot more physical depth, which is what United have lacked for far too long. I think the last time we had a physical player in that era, I can't even remember. And I think I'm not saying that you have to have physical players, but if we are going down the routes of a Todibo or Inacio as a centre-back option next to Martinez, we need someone physical next to them. That for me is a given. Now, I actually mentioned Joao Neves about, I think maybe like 5 months ago. I think it was like 5 months ago. I mentioned him. I'm not surprised that United have put in a bid for him. If you lot don't know, Joao Neves, live and direct from Benfica, great player. It gives me, I don't know who he reminds me of. Like, he's very good on the ball, very technical, very petite, very his stature is not large. He's very, I don't know, he's very silky on the ball, very talented. He's a very talented player. Manchester United have submitted a bid, reportedly. This is from this morning. They reportedly submitted a bid for Joao Neves for around £51 million. This was rejected. They said, They want Benfica want at least £85 million at the minimum. At the minimum. I know that they've been holding out for at least 100 million. I don't see United paying that for anybody. I will be so shocked if United spend more than 50 million on multiple players this season. I think United will spend 50 million on one player. One player, and that's it. I don't see it. I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. And like I said, I don't see them being in a position to be held ransom. Fabrizio, it's not fake because Fabrizio have gone on to talk about it, saying Benfica's stance on Joao Neves is very clear. 120 million euros. There you go. 120 million euros release clause or no plans to exit this year. Man United, Arsenal, and Man City scouts have been monitoring him, and Benfica are hopeful to keep him at the club. These men think, Carde, isn't that where Enzo came from? Is that Enzo came from Benfica, right? If I'm not wrong. Minna, have you seen Desire Due Kid? One of my mates has been talking about him for the longest, like the entire of the season. My mate was talking about him. So I'm familiar with him. I'm familiar of his traits and that just because I've read articles because of my friend, but I haven't seen any links for Manchester United. Ridwan says he's too much. Benfica absolutely milk the hell out of other clubs like Chelsea. 85 million ain't worth it for potential. This is, you know what? I feel like in football nowadays, all you're doing is paying for potential. All you're doing is paying for potential. Who's really out there buying ready-made players? CR7 will tell them to probably stay away from Man United. I think CR7 still has a soft spot for us, guys. Neves gives me Enzo at Benfica vibes. You think so? Do you think so? I don't know. I've seen some comparisons to like Coutinho and them kind of players. I just want to just double check, guys, just to make sure I haven't missed any news in the last like time that I've been live. Hopefully if there is any news, you guys could kind of share it with me. Man City fans are just making me laugh on Twitter. They are just making me laugh. Okay. Because we're still guys, we're still waiting for this update of this review. The review that's being reviewed of the review, like we are still waiting for that. So I'm always just nervous in case I miss any news whilst being live. Olise talk to Chelsea is heating up. I saw someone, Santi JFM is saying that Chelsea have begun negotiations with the representatives of Olise. If Olise goes to Chelsea, bro, oh my god. Oh my god. Let me come back to Olise. Let me come back to the topic of Olise. Because another player that United have been linked to, it's just linked FC, bro. It's linked FC. Where's my whiteboard? I need to write down the list of these players. Another player that United have been linked to is Gonzalo Inacio, a defender at Sporting. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I've been trying to educate myself a lot of these players. You know what I'm avoiding this year? My plan this summer, I was making my content plan, and my plan was to do like reviews of players we're linked to, but I don't want to waste my time. I realize I don't want to waste my time doing that. What's the point of doing a short or a video, like a 2-minute video on this is the player we're linked to, this is their strengths, this is all of that just for another club, another fan base to end up using that video when they're doing their welcome to X team for that player. Because United are just linked FC right now. Everywhere we go, we're just being linked. And United are preparing to move for the forward with a proposal to sign Gonzalo Inacio. This has been news in Portugal for the last 2 or so days. I think it's been reported. I think it's been a bit more heavily reported than the Joao Neves talk. 100%. I think there's some real stuff to this. It's reported that a right-sided centre-back is the biggest priority for Manchester United right now. Todibo, Mopatiz has said that Todibo is very, very likely. And I just feel like, yeah, Mopatiz has always been kind of right. To go on, Portugal are reporting that there have already been informal contacts between Manchester United and Sporting for Gonzalo Inacio. The next step will be the presentation of a concrete offer, which could arrive in the next few days. Now, Fabrizio Romano has reported that Sporting have a release clause for him. Sorry, they're not even value him. They have a release clause of 60 million euros. That's around 50 million. And that's why I said to you, I see Manchester United spending that on at least one player. It's either they have leaned more towards the idea of a right-sided centre-back and spending that money on them instead of a right winger for Olise, because of course Olise to Chelsea talks is kind of heating up, and it's heating up quite a lot. Today is all I've been seeing Chelsea fans talking about online in particular. Now, I'm surprised that United have kind of moved away from this Todibo talk. I would have thought with the Ineos links that, you know, it would have made it an easier deal. The fact that United have been tracking Todibo for way longer than they've been tracking Inacio. Imagine Inacio and Antonio Silva as centre-back pairing could be one for the future. Has he been called up to the Portugal team? Because that would give me a good opportunity to actually watch him. Goals for George Big Up says, any 19 or 20-year-old who costs more than 40 million is a big gamble. Portuguese league is weak and no signing from that league is worth more than 50 million tops. You know what I feel like we should shop more in? And I don't think we shop enough in. I think if we're going to shop in any league, it should be the French league. Anytime I watch a player come from the French league to the Premier League, they just adapt so comfortably. Midfielders, etc., centre-backs. You know, Saliba went there on his loan spell, came back, slotted back into Arsenal. Bobakor Kamara came from there, slotted in. Anana came from there, slotted in. And that's why I'm very hopeful. And that's actually a very, very good segue for me. It's a very, very good segue. I'm very hopeful for this signing, guys. I'm very hopeful that Manchester United could get Yusuf Fofana. For me, another low risk, low reward player, 25 million. 25 million. League One ain't got the PL pace, but it has similar physicality. I think that's the most important part, is the physicality. The pace, understandable, but I think it's easier for... I've seen players adapt easier coming from there to here, in comparison to coming from the Portuguese league, Italian league, etc., etc. I feel like just in general as well, United do not shop in the French league enough. Yusuf Fofana from Monaco, I've been saying, I had to put this here, I've been saying this for even before August 2023. I've been saying, bring him to Manchester United. And not just him, even his partner. If we could do it 2-for-1, just get two of them at the same time. He was talking to media today. He's been called up to the French Euros team, got the opportunity as well to obviously go to the World Cup as well a couple of years ago. He was talking to the media and talking about his future at Monaco, and he said that him and the club are on the same terms. They've agreed that the best thing is for him an exit. If they cannot find somewhere, they will work together to stay next season. And then they will kind of go on to make that decision. Now, he's coming to the end of his contract, 1 year left on his contract. Monaco are asking for 25 million. So you could essentially get a good starter in your midfield for a 20-ish million fee. That's why I call it low risk, low reward. That is really why I call it that. And I can say that for me, Yusuf Fofana would comfortably slot in to that midfield position alongside man like Kobe. Another name that I've seen, and this name just came out of nowhere, can I say? This name came out of nowhere. Reportedly, Manchester United have identified, they haven't made a bid, they haven't approached, but they've identified Ben Sheaf as an option for their summer plans from Coventry City. The player impressed throughout the campaign and shunned against United during their meeting in April. Sheaf turned 26 in February and will cost the region around 17 to 25 million. From what I'm seeing with the midfielders that United have been linked to, except for Joao Neves, from what I'm seeing, it looks like they're going for people that are costing around that price. That 20-ish million. Ex-Arsenal, yeah. It is what it is, man. Shit happens. Shit happens. How many ex-Arsenal players have we had at what's it called? At Manchester United? Robin van Persie, one of my goats. One of my favorite players. One of let me not say goat. Alhamdulillah. Sorry about that, guys. Excuse me. I know that United who's the next Arsenal player? Ben Sheaf is. I think he came through their academy. I might be wrong, but I think he did come through their academy. And just for the last part of any transfer talk for Manchester United, I really wonder what this means for them. Oh my god. It looks like, and this is coming from Ben Jacobs, isn't it? So take it with a pinch of salt. But it looks set to be a straight race for Manchester United and Chelsea to get Michael Olise. Olise's heart says United, but his head will look at the contract, the package, the long term, who's likely to get Champions League trophies, system, etc., playing time. He also has history with Chelsea. Now, if it's solely to do with the money, the monetary aspect of stuff, he will go to Chelsea. He will go to Chelsea. Again, London-based club. I look at Chelsea, and I'm not joking. How many wingers do they need? How many they're collecting wingers and they're collecting centre backs like it's Pokemons. They're just going outside and just, yeah, collect that one, collect that. And then what are they doing? Just letting them rot away on the bench. It doesn't make any sense. Olise, for me, I was under the impression that Olise to United would be the first signing of the season. Obviously, transfer window still hasn't opened. There's still a few more weeks for that. United didn't really make their first official announcement last year until July with Mason Mount, despite the fact that other clubs at that point had already signed their first players. But I do think, I definitely do feel like, oh, guys, I forgot to do my timestamp again. I'm such an idiot, guys. I'm such an idiot. What is wrong with me? I'm trying to make the streams a bit more easier for people to watch it back so that they can get timestamps. But for me, I just thought Olise would be the first signing. Hay fever is bad today, not gonna lie. To be honest, my hay fever was bad on the weekend. It's not been that bad today, but it was definitely bad on the weekend. If Olise ends up at Chelsea, that would have been Adarabioyo lost out to Chelsea, Olise lost out to Chelsea. Benjamin Sesko, a player that there's been talk about him during the season. However, there was anything solid. He looks like he's going to Arsenal. I mean, United look like they're going in the lower sides. And when I say the lower sides, I mean they're going for the lower price players, excuse me. But they look like they're going for the lowest price players so that they can get a bigger number of players, if that makes sense. They could get more money. They could get more players for 80 million by signing 3 or so players than they could by getting one for 65 million. It's as simple as that. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. Apologies, guys, throughout the stream because I started off talking way too much about Manchester City, but we couldn't let them be shameless. We had to make it clear that, you know, the bullshit that they're trying to pull with the Premier League. I'm glad that I can't believe there's only one club that's backing them. That's embarrassing. That one club should absolutely be embarrassed. But we talked a bit about Bruno Fernandes and why I think some of you lot don't agree, but we talked about why he deserves that contract, that little bumped up price on his contract long term. We spoke a little bit about, who did we speak about? We spoke about Joao Neves. We spoke about Fofana. We spoke about just all the transfer talk that I could possibly pluck out over the last 12 or so hours. Now, United fans are still waiting for any news regarding Erik ten Hag's future or the future of the coaching staff at Manchester United. So as soon as there is information on that, obviously reliable information, I will collate it and then go live and see what everybody is saying. But I think no news might be good news for Erik ten Hag. I think no news might be good news. I'm just refreshing my timeline one last time to make sure that I haven't missed out on anything, and it does not look like I have. So we're good to end the stream. Now listen, guys, before I end the stream, I want to do I said I was going to do more streams on Twitch. I said I was going to do more streams on here throughout, you know, the off season. I want to say, who here uses Twitch and who doesn't use Twitch? Because I need to kind of gauge it. Let me slap my Twitch in the bio. It's in the bio already, but let me just put it in the chat. If you are on Twitch, please do follow me over there because I'm going to be doing a lot more streams there. I know a lot of people don't use Twitch. It took me so long to kind of get used to how the hell to use Twitch. Till today, I don't really know how to use it. I'm still kind of figuring it out, but I want to stream there consistently pretty much throughout the evenings and the night times, playing different games. I have so many games that I haven't finished that I want to finish there, and obviously this is a football channel, so if it's not football related, then I don't really want to do it, which is why I'll do EAFC streams here. So if you do have Twitch, you have a Twitch account, please come over, follow me on Twitch, subscribe. If you want to drop a subscription there, you can. If you've got Amazon Prime, you get a free monthly subscription, so you can subscribe there as well. You get all the emojis, you get, I think there's no ads, all of that kind of stuff. And obviously I'm trying to grow the community there. I think I'm like maybe like 20 off of 100 there, so help me get to 100 guys on Twitch, and I will be streaming regularly. I'll be playing with people, etc, etc, etc. Now I don't know when my first stream will be. It'll be this week, so it'll be this evening. or tomorrow. I don't know what game I'm gonna play. Maybe I'll pick on YouTube. On stream tomorrow. Maybe I'll pick and say you guys can decide what game I play on stream. But I still got Assassin's Creed to finish over there. I might start playing GTA because everybody's. I always see people talking about it on TikTok. Obviously, Call of Duty is something I regularly play. And then there's obviously a lot of other games as well. So make sure you lot follow me on Twitch. Big up to everybody for getting me to 4K. You know what I realized? Shock reveal, guys. Shock reveal. When you're consistent, your channel grows. Wow. That is a absolute amazing revelation that I've just figured out over the last month or so. But I hit 4K on Saturday, and now it's the road to 5K. And we've got a lot of content coming throughout the next week or two. The watch-alongs will start for the Euros. I'll be doing watch-alongs for the women's team, who are currently England Lionesses, are currently playing in the Euros qualifiers. So I'll be doing a watch-along for France this week. That game is a big game because England have to win. Otherwise, they might get dumped out of the qualifiers. We'll be doing an EAFC stream. I might do one this evening, actually. I'll see, or tomorrow. Obviously, we'll have Saeed back here on the channel. We will do transfer streams every single day, talking about United in depth and then anything else for other clubs. So I know Mbappe, biggest conversation, but guys, we've been knowing Mbappe was going to Real Madrid. We knew like 5 years ago. We knew it was going to happen. So I didn't really see the need to do a stream for that. But we will be doing streams every single day, 4 or 5 o'clock UK time. Still kind of deciding, but we'll be doing it every day, talking about the latest transfer news, all the here we goes from Fabrizio Romano, all of that kind of stuff. But big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe on your way out. We're like 20 off of 100. So for the algorithm purposes, guys, make sure you hit the like button, and I'll be back tomorrow. And if you didn't follow me on Twitch, guys, don't be a disgrace. Don't be a disgrace. Go over and follow me on Twitch. I'm out. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Until tomorrow, guys. Peace.